Hello everyone, welcome to my video. This video is going to be the first in a my intention is an ongoing series. I'm thinking it's going to take me about 3 years. I have an Eriy story, and by that I mean the artist, not the supernatural kind. So I have 7 Eriy books I've been for years and years wanting to make progress on. I have all 3 romantic country, tale 1, 2, and 3. Then I have the fairy tale book, the world literature book, the world heritage book, and the other one, which I can't remember the name of, which I'll look in a second when I get to it. So basically all the 4 special books, not the newest one from last year. Actually, was it earlier in this year? That's like the smaller square one, just all the ones that are this size. And, you know, I have hundreds of coloring books, and I'm really guilty of never finishing a coloring book and bouncing around. And Eriy is probably known as the one of the best coloring book artists ever in the coloring sort of industry. And I've always been enchanted and mesmerized and in love with the Eriy books. And I wanted to have some completed books to show for myself as I get, you know, older and older into the end of my life. And if I had to pick some, these would be the ones. So what I decided I'm going to do, and I started this month, is I'm going to color one spread, like at the 2-page spreads at a time, per book, per month. Which, well, I started with my commitment of doing 6 per month. You know, maybe 2 a week or 1 every 5 days or whatever. But then I really realized I was able to do the 7th one in the 7th book. So I'll do 6 minimum with 7 if I can, or the 7 will be every other month. So I calculated by counting the pages, it would take me about 3.5 years to do all the books, and I'd be completing them all at the same time if I do 1 spread per month. And so that's what I've done. And I started this, so I'm going to show a video the first of every month or around that, showing what I colored in each book. And then I'll show you at the end the pages I'm going to tackle for the next month. And then you can look at the what I colored video of it for the next month and see the final result. So let's get into the pictures, and I'll tell you what I did and how I created the effects on each. I'm going to start with this one. I think this, I don't have the exact translations. This was like the world travel or travel the world or something like that. I wanted to tell my little background story on Eriy. Eriy has been my nemesis. When I first started adult coloring in 2017, the first coloring book I had was the original Romantic Country. It had not been out long. First time I ever colored with colored pencils, Prismacolor pencils, in fact, was in that book, and it looked terrible. It was like the worst thing I've ever seen or done in my life, and it killed my desire sort of for coloring. And it made me realize I actually thought Prismacolor pencils were bad. I didn't realize it was me and the technique and the translation of paper to pencil. It was so bad that I didn't use colored pencils for a couple of years. I only used markers, and I never touched an Eriy book again until, you know, 7 years later. Or 8 almost, in this last year, I purchased all the books with the determination, after years and years of classes and even teaching coloring and all the mediums and all the things I've learned. My intention is to color all the books entirely, every single page, just to like overcome my distaste and like fear and intimidation of Eriy books, because I was sort of traumatized in the beginning. So I'll start with showing you this one just because it's one of my favorites. I started with something a little simple. I did this African themed one, and let me see if I can go up on my camera a little, kind of the safari one. And I really love it. What I did, it's hard to get these whole spreads into the camera. I used gelatos for the sky, and I love it. It was so easy. One of the other reasons I didn't like to do Eriy books that much with coloring is because there's so many like large objects with pencils. It takes forever and ever and ever, and it's really hard to get good blends on the paper. The paper's unusual and blah blah blah. So anyway, I've learned to in the wide space backgrounds, even this sun I did in gelatos with one of these, in fact, gelato brushes. And so another thing I'm doing to save time, another reason I could do so many, I did a video recently showing how I base with water-based markers, like the Tomadool brush pen or the Ohuhu Maui markers. Like these elephants, I based in a very light gray, quick and simple. And then I let it dry and I do other stuff. And then I come back and I do 3 different grays and a Prismacolor blender, 3 different Prismacolor pencils, and I created the effect. I wanted the elephant to be like a special prodigy, you know, special diamond in the rough, kind of more of a black elephant, but I really used dark French grays and espresso. And I had a little harder time with the drafts, getting the right yellow clouds. I just did a white marker, kept it simple. Down here, I use watercolor pencil, so I'm happy with how it turned out. Oh, and I also used my Spectrum Noir Aqua Blend pencils for these trees with a water brush pen to turn it into paint, and then I go over it with pencil detail. It just saves so much time when you're not going straight to pencil. So I'm happy with how this looks. It's just bright and colorful and makes me kind of think of Africa. Yeah. So that was the last one I actually just finished. The first one in this book, of course. Now let's go to this is the Fairy Tales book. I know that because of the Cinderella carriage. Puss in Boots and stuff like that. This one I did as a full color along. It is the 3 Little Pigs. This is all done with Black Widow pencils. It's like a 3-part video. I didn't release it yet. I don't think, because I did this one 2 weeks ago. Did I? I don't think I did. I'll double check. I'll release that this week. Took forever because I was doing it as a color long. Black Widow pencils. I didn't use any water pens on this. So this one was entirely Black Widow pencils with a Color blender, stickle kind of glitters for like the windows. You can see that if it sparkles. And the sky, I did use pan pastels for the sky, which is, you know, dry and cakey, so you have to spray it with a fixative when you're done with the picture. I'm actually spraying all of mine with fixatives because even the Prismacolors, you know, let's say I do a page toward the back of the book, and then over time when the book's closed and I'm coloring, you know, these pages, the pushing down and the pressure can smear Prismacolor from the heat because they're wax-based, from the heat of the friction of your hand and everything. I just think this one is so cute. I really love it. So it's done from all the Black Widow sets. I have them all. So I just randomly pulled colors, and in the video I'll list all the colors and the color long I used if you want to duplicate it. So it was fun. I really enjoyed it, and I don't know, I'll do a lot of them in color alongs, maybe one every month or every other month because it takes forever to write down the colors and teach it. But anyway, so yeah, that's the one in this book I did. Very happy with this. Next, I have this one. I was not quite as happy with my sky because I was experimenting. Oh, so this is the one I can remember the name of. I keep thinking fairy because of the fairies on front. Gosh, what is the actual name of this book? Hey, I can't remember. I'm gonna have to look it up. Okay, so anyway, I did this one. I showed you on camera how I did this, how I based with water-based pens and used Prismacolor pencils over to speed up my coloring. I showed you how I did the apples and the leaves in a video. I can link that below. It was only like a couple weeks ago. You can probably find it. I used Color watercolor pencils, which are very cheap, on this dragon, honestly. And then on this background here, I used my Spectrum Noir Aqua Blends. I like the cheap Color watercolor ones way better. It worked so much better, at least on this paper. That's why it's a little wrinkly, right? It's stiff because of the water brush. straight pencil on her and the flowers. Little white Posca detail. You know, I felt like my sky looked splotchy. It didn't look, I don't know. I think I also have a tutorial I have not released on how I did the Spectrum Noir Blue Sky with the water pen. Have not released that video yet. But I love my little dragon. And I did the little black on the apples because it's kind of like maybe they're poison apples. It's a magic forest. So I was pretty happy with this one. Not as happy as the others, but it was, you know, it's all right. All right. So then I have my Nemesis book. The first book. Now, I will tell you, the one I had in 2017, I threw out when I repurchased them all because that picture traumatizes me when I look at it, how terrible it is. I should have saved it to show you guys, but it's like so terrible. I love this picture I did. I did the tea party. It was so fun. Absolutely loved it. Goodness. So for my sky, I also used gelatos. You can see I used a combination of pink, purple, and blue. You can see it's a little darker along the bottom. And all I did is use these brushes. If anyone would like to see a video how I do gelato backgrounds in these books, let me know. I did base a ton with water brush pens in this picture because they're going to take me forever. So like a lighter green on the tablecloth, light pink all the way. Actually a little bit, not that light, it's like a medium pink. Just one shade under this pencil across the whole pink tablecloth. And then this tablecloth, the yellow and the purple, all water pens. Water pens. Then I went over with the yellow pencil for the glow, a yellow Prismacolor over the gelato. I had a heck of a time doing all these little stripe color details. Each of these stripes, I used Pitt Artist pens because they're real firm pointed to get these, but it's like it was too pale. So I went over each one with pencil, every single one. And it's just impossible because the little rectangle is so small to not like have one look a little bigger, one look a little smaller, go over. I feel like it's kind of a mess, but I think I covered it kind of well. I don't know, like I tried. It was really irritating me. For her hair, I used like a gold and a brown water-based pencil, went over it with Prismacolors. Her dress is straight Prismacolor, no water pencil, and just straight Pitt Artist pens up here on this garland with a little pencil over it. And whenever you're going to use a water brush pen, like a Pitt Artist pen or which is a pointed one, or a brush pen, let it, you know, don't try to color over it for like 20-30 minutes so it's fully dry, or your pencil won't. But it makes the pencil go over that much smoother and quicker, and it just gives it more vibrant color. Now, so the Nemesis picture, the terrible one I did, is it in this book? Which one was it? 7 years ago or whatever it was. I believe it was this one. There's actually, since then, some people doing tutorials on it. It looked like the devil's breath. I mean, it was that bad. It was like foggy and ugly, and I didn't know how to blend pencils, and I didn't know how to use a white pencil, and there was no color blending, and it was scratchy, and it was just like, it was atrocious. But anyway, yeah. Very proud of that picture because it was fun. All right, so I have here which one is this? The third tail. First picture in this one too. Really had fun with this one. I think I did a video showing something on this one. My farm scene. So what I did for this sky, I used an acrylic paint marker, not the liquidy kind like a Posca, but the one that's like a solid paint, the Artex acrylic black. I had to go over it twice, letting it dry in between, and just use a white gel pen to create my stars. Looks a little bright in here, so it's kind of glowy. So this again was all water brush. No, the grass, the tree, the dirt was all Spectrum Noir Aqua Blend pencils, which come in like you know, 7 or 8 different tins, different mixtures, you know. The grass looked terrible, so I had to go over the whole thing with several shades of pencil. I put in some yellow pencil over this just looks more like a watercolor. And I used a straight up, I use those good color pencils for the sky, the watercolors. And just, I did all of this with just Prismacolor only for the pigs. A little too bright fuchsia for this pig for my taste. Also did watercolor for the cement of the ground. I don't color animals well. My sheep look kind of completely, the dog and the sheep look goofy. Like they don't look like I don't do animals well. I don't know why. Oh, my dog looks like a psycho dog or something with his boing eyes. So, you know, not terrible. I used a white Posca for the trim on the barn and 3 shades of reds for each plank of Prismacolor on the barn there. All Prismacolor pencil only with the water brush pens. So it's not bad for my first one. First time using some of those pencils, I think. Not terrible. All right, next would be one this one was like not my friend. The second tail. Second tail, I did the birdhouse spread. I feel like I need to go back and touch some things up. I chose it because it was easy, but this thing was not easy at all. It was a pain going around all these leaves in the sky. Oh my goodness. I used, again, those Spectrum Noir Aqua Blend pencils. I used an orange, a light orange, a dark yellow, and a light yellow, and I would start with the dark orange in the little nooks of the trees and then blend color outward. So you see a little orange and yellow, and then I would go in with the water brush. That's why the page is curled. And it's just splotchy. It didn't blend well. I think it's the paper, though. It may not be the pencil. Again, some pencils were better on paper than certain papers than others. I just realized I didn't go over pencil on that house, so it looks a little faded right there because I just used a water pen. So I based all the houses in water pens and went over with pencil because I just wanted this page over with and done. I made the huge mistake of doing straight Prismacolors on this tree, and it took a bazillion years with a hard pressure of a colorless blender stick. I should have based it again or used watercolor on it. It saved me a lot of agony. And I wanted it to be like a snow shower on a sunny day, and I did the snow to cover up a lot of the boo-boos, to be honest. So I put like little falling snow kind of all over everything, and just from a Posca pen just to kind of hide some of that. And I think it's fine, you know. I'm not gonna say I really love it or anything, but it's done. In the end, when I have a book full of great pages, the mediocre ones will not stand out or be very significant. All right, lastly is the world literature. Woo, I love this book. So I'm a literature person. Now, this one is the dolls. Yeah. Detail. And again, my overhead cameras are really bright, so they look a little darker than they are. So I will confess, I started this one, this is the only one I'd done and I attempted maybe months ago and just kind of stopped. I'd started doing the big girl and a few of the little dolls. So I figured, okay, my first spread in this book, I'll just finish off this one, save me some time. And I had used a completely different pencil that I'd never used before on all the stuff I had done. And it was like a Mitsubishi Uni or something like that. And they were not great at all. So I went in here, obviously, with Prismacolor and artist pens and did it all. This whole pale yellow background is just a Prismacolor pencil, real simple. And yeah, the details on the dolls and all the little stripes and the little dots and the little stars, to use a pencil, unless they're really sharp, just takes forever. So I use artist pens because they have a point in that's really nice and firm. and I could have used gel pens. So next month I'm going to use different pencils. So I'm going to probably go to the Black Widows again and gel pens. And every month I'm going to add more different variety of pencils and mediums just to kind of learn what works really great in the books and what doesn't. But yeah, I loved the colors in this dress. So pretty. Such a girly girl. And her boots. Love the boots. Love the hats. Kind of an Easter dress. All right, so let me show you now the pages I've selected. I've marked to do next month. All right, I had to go back and mark all the pages with the marks, the ones I chose. I'm trying to vary it up, so like a couple easy, a couple of chapter intros, a couple of harder ones. So I'm not doing all the hard or all the easy at once. I have a couple, 2 or 3 that were partly started. Maybe I kind of tackled a few months back, just a little bits. I'm going to say for October and December, because I do want to color some Halloween and Christmas stuff. So this will take up my whole month every month. So that will save me some time. So I'm saving those. But so for the second tail, I want to go ahead and do the kind of Marie Antoinette closet. I've seen a lot of versions of this one done. I'm going to do mine in muted, kind of neutral, natural tones that look kind of Victorian, even though I think this feels less Victorian, more Marie Antoinette to me, but like soft creams, muted pinks, some soft grays, things like that, instead of less of the bright kind of colors. I will be using largely Prismacolor because I already picked a color palette for it and wrote it all out. And I might try to share all the colors I use. I can't always do tutorials, but I can show the colors I used. For the fairy tale book, I will be doing, this is for September, so I'm showing you the Wizard of Oz. And because I'm going to use my gelatos for maybe the grass and some areas to knock out some of the big areas quickly. So remember, when on October, first couple days of October, when I release my video, you can come back and see all of these pages colored. So I'm holding myself accountable. Whether or not this is an achievable goal, if I can keep this up for 3 years straight, I don't know. I really want to. I'd love to have every one of these books done. For the travel book, was it World Heritage or something? I'm going to do this one because of the Polynesian theme. I love Hawaii, I love Tahiti, and the tropical one's kind of like a mandala. And again, I can use some gelato or in there, maybe pan pastel. I'll base with water markers. Probably gonna use something different in here, maybe Black Widows. This is gonna kind of be my Black Widow month, other than the one I already showed you, because I already figured out the color theme for Prismacolors. And for my Nemesis, the first book, I've chosen, I already started it, so I just did this with a gelato sky. This is like one of the chapter intros. When I did that African safari sort of one, I was just playing with it. So since I already started, this will be an easy one to do in like 2 days. I can knock this one out. Love how I did the sky. So I'm going to do some muted pastels in here, I think, for this intro page. I'm trying to balance, easier ones. For the third tail, I'm going to do this one. I saw this one done by a YouTube channel. Someone, I don't remember who it was. Something about pages I've colored in Eriy books. I'm gonna have to go back and look up when I do it, but I loved the color theme. It was like a fall theme so I'm gonna go back and find it and see if I can kind of replicate some of the colors, and I'll have to mention who it is once I've done it because I can't remember. See, these kind of pages with all the little objects, I don't generally love that stuff, but if I'm gonna complete the whole book, I have to do it. So this is why I'm not just doing 2 random pages. I want to feel like I'm knocking out, and I want to do a spread in each book every month. So I force myself, whether I want to do a certain page or not, to do it. And so you can also bring in colors from one into another. So it's nice and kind of cohesive, flowing color palette versus, I don't know, while it's fresh and you have some of the same mediums out. So all the little candles and knick-knacky stuff is going to annoy me, but it's got to be done. I'll probably put a little less effort into ones like that. Okay, and then this is the world literature book here. I'm going to do Heidi. One, because I love the book Heidi. I reread it. I have all the children's classics, the leather-bound ones. I reread it not that long ago. And it's got a lot of wide open sky and mountains and grass I can knock out with, keep playing with my gelatos. Maybe pan pastels and sky or gelatos. Maybe I'll do a video showing how I do that on this one, for example, like with the brushes, the gelatos. This is a perfect way to show you, and I can knock out a lot of stuff. I'll bet you I could do this one in 3 days. 4 to go back and do all little flower details, maybe. I can usually tell by looking. Alexa, cancel. Okay, so I'm going to be doing Heidi. Lastly, I have this one. Well, one of them is called like a World Heritage. I think that's the one that had the Polynesian picture I chose. But see, that's got an Eiffel Tower. So is this the travel? I don't know. Can someone tell me the name of this book in the comment below? And clarify. I know the world literature. I know the many countries. Clarify with this one. One of those called World Heritage. It's got to be this one, right? Or like something travel or other. Anyway, so for this book with the fairy, I'm going to do this page. And because it's still hot here, it's coming off the end of summer, so I'm doing a couple of fall theme in the other ones. I want to do this one with the summer theme. I have kind of a vintage look in mind for this one. I like coloring boys. Maybe that's not a boy. Is it a boy? Probably. I'm not sure. This one made me think of, I've been rewatching the Tudors. I just finished the whole series, and then I'm onto the White Queen, the White Princess, and the Spanish Princess now, all on Stars. Seen them before, but this one made me think of that, kind of the Lady in Waiting and all the English grounds. So I kind of want to tackle this. I have no color theme in mind. I have no clue what I'm going to do for this one whatsoever. So that is it. So I'm just going to call this video 1. I'm going to number each video. I'm kind of wanting to do this to monitor my own progress. So like after 2 years, it'll be like video 18, video 24. So I'll know I've been sticking with my goal. So I think it'll take me 3 years to do all of these books. I kind of like the challenge of it. I don't know if life's going to get in the way, probably at some point, but I'm pretty determined. And if I had only some coloring books to show for the end of my life or to pass along, these would look all amazing if they're fully beautifully colored. Especially I use a lot of vibrant, bright colors. And I want to show you guys as I go what I do. So hope you enjoyed the video. If you want me to keep doing this series, let me know in the comments if you are really interested. So I'm not wasting my time. All right, thanks. See you in the next video.